Jaya Giri Govardhan, Giri Govardhan, Giri Govardhan, Jaya Giri Govardhan. Jaya Nitai Chaitanya Chandra Nitai Chaitanya Chandra Gaura Hare. Jaya Nitai Gaura Chandra Nitai Gaura Chandra Gaura Hare. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada. Jaya Jaya Gurudev 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 Jaya Jaya Gurudev.
Swami Maharaj ki jai, Ananta Koti Vaishnav Vrinda ki jai, Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur ki jai, Prem se kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Shivasati Gaur Bhakti Bhakti ki jai, Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopinath Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Yashodanandana Bhaja Janaranjana Nandana Bhaja
Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana Yamunatihira Vanachari Yamunatihira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Giri Varadari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Giri Varadari Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana Yamunatihira Vanachari Yamunatihira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivashari Go Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jai Vishnupada Paramahanta Paribhaja Akacharya Ashtotara Shatishimad Sri Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj Srila Prabhupada Ki Iskcon BBT founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada ki, Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki, Nitai Gaur Premanandi. All glory to the assembled devotees, all glory to the assembled devotees, all glory to the assembled devotees, all glory to Shri Guru, Shri Gauranga, Shri Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So this is the verse. Oh. Okay. But we read up to this point yesterday, or? Up to 16. Okay. I read several verses yesterday. Read several verses yesterday. Okay. Okay. Pardon? Where did they start yesterday? Yesterday. Oh, okay. 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 So I'll read 17 and then we'll chant 18. Srimad Bhagavatam, 10th canto, 44th chapter, text starting with text 17, we'll repeat text 18. Evam prabha samanasu strishu yogeshvaro hari shatrum hantum manaschakre Bhagavan Bharata Shabha. Translation by the servants of Srila Prabhupada. Shukadeva Goswami continued, as the women spoke thus, O hero of the Bharat, Lord Krishna, the master of all mystic power, made up his mind to kill the opponent. Now we'll repeat this verse. Sabaya Stri Gira Shutva Putra Sneha Shuchatarao Pitarav Anvatapyatam Putrayor Abuda Balam Sabaya Stri Gira Shutta Putra Sneha Shuchaturao Pitara Bantapapyetam Putrayor Abudao Balam Sabhaya Stri Gira Shutta Putra Sneha Shuchaturao Pitara Bantapapyetam Putrayor Abudao Balam Sabhayastri gira shutva putra sneha shuchataro pitara vattapapyetam putrayorha buddhavalam Sabhayastri gira shutva putra sneha shuchataro pitara vattapapyetam Putra buddha balam Sabhayasti gira shutva Putra sneha shuchataro Pitara vanyatapyetam Putrayora buddha balam Mayam Sri gira shutva Trasneha shuchataro Navanatapyetam Tayora buddha balam Abhayasti gira shutva Utasneha shuchataro Vitara vantapayetam Dayora buddha balam Sabhayasti gira shutva Utasneha shuchataro Pitara vanvatapyetam Sabhayasti gira gutta Namayane suthataro Pitara vanvatapyetam Utayara buddha balam Sabhaya, fearful, Stri, of the women, Gira, the words, Shutva, hearing, Putra, for their sons, Sneha, by their affection, Shucha, with sorrow, Aturao, overwhelmed, Pitarao, their parents, Devaki and Vasudev, Anvatapyetam, felt remorse, Putrayo, of their two sons, Abudao, not knowing, Balam, the strength. Translation, purport by servants of Srila Prabhupada. Out of affection for the two lords, their parents, Devaki and Vasudev, became overwhelmed with sorrow when they heard the women's fearful statements. They grieved, not knowing their son's strength. Purport. Let's repeat it, please. I'll repeat together. Out of affection for the two lords, their parents, Devaki and Vasudev, became overwhelmed with sorrow when they heard the women's fearful statements. They grieved, not knowing their son's strength. Purport. Naturally, Krishna's parents would lament in this situation, thinking, why didn't we keep our sons at home? Why did we allow them to participate in this corrupt exhibition? Om Jnanatimirandasya Gananjana Shalakaya Chakshurumilitam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupakata Mahyam Darati Padantikam Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Sri Mate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namane Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pacharine Nirbhishesha Shunyavadi Pastyatya Deshatarine Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadha Shivashari Gaura Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. When I looked at the verses for yesterday, I didn't think we would get this far. No. So I'd just like to go back a little bit, because especially one of these verses that was read yesterday, verse number 14, we find it in Chaitanya Charitamrita. We find it in the Sandarbhas of Jiva Goswami. We find it in the Jaiva Dharma, and so many different acharyas have spoken of this verse, and especially Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Verse number 14. This was very, very famous verse with extensive commentaries by all of our acharyas. And so, because there was a contrast, the last section where the women of Mathura are speaking, there's actually different groups that are speaking. The first group are the dharmic women who speak about the injustice. Just like at the end of the last chapter, there's a beautiful verse how everybody saw Krishna in a different way when he entered into the arena, the sacrificial arena. It was meant to be a sacrifice. It was kind of put up to be a sport, but it was actually meant to be a sacrifice, because the whole idea of Kamsa was that Krishna and Balaram would never even reach the arena. They would be killed by Kuvalayapida. But then when he saw them walking in with the tusk over their shoulder, then he became very much in anxiety. But he felt like, I have a whole army of wrestlers. But then, as this chapter begins to describe, that Chanura and Mushtika were the two most fierce, and Krishna and Balaram are now fighting with them. While they're fighting with them, of course there's other wrestlers that will come later, but while they're fighting with them, then the dharmic ladies of Mathura, they speak of this injustice. Actually, the residents of Vrindavan, they couldn't even speak. Swajana Pitaro, it says previously. They saw Krishna and Balaram as these delicate little boys, as their sons, as their relatives. And they couldn't believe that this was even happening. They were dumbstruck. But the ladies of Mathura, being wives and relatives of kings and soldiers, so soldiers, Kshatriyas, are representatives of justice. And so the justice by the Brahmins is expressed in curses, and justice by Kshatriyas is expressed in fighting and protecting. So these ladies are saying, how can we remain here? But they still remained there, because they had never seen anything like Krishna. They had never seen Krishna. they had heard about Krishna, but not very profoundly. So they were just speaking about the injustice. Then another group who had heard more about Krishna and had heard about Vrindavan, they glorified Vrindavan and the residents of Vrindavan as a contrast. How can we, how can we exhibit this injustice? And because we've heard about the beauty of Vrindavan, and there's no such injustice. Of course, later on, when Krishna was in Dwarka, even Kamsa's mother, she was perceiving things from a different point of view, because having Krishna there in Dwarka was so wonderful. She was perceiving the injustice as happening in Vrindavan. Here, that these residents of Vrindavan are so cruel that they send Krishna out to herd the cows with no shoes, and he's, they're so cheap. They sell all this butter, and they have Krishna like a slave. They don't even give him shoes. They send him out to take care of their cows, while they sit back and bring in all the wealth coming from the sales of butter and milk, and then they keep him out for long hours, and they don't feed him. Therefore, he has to go and steal butter from different houses. So this was her complaint. She was seeing the biggest injustices in here. We're wonderful. We love Krishna. There, they don't care about Krishna. So she thought, they're so greedy for money. Let's just pay them off. And then Krishna will forget all about them, and he's feeling some obligation for some reason, but we'll just pay them off, and they'll forget about Krishna, and we can have him here in Dwarka. That was her idea. But here, just the opposite. The ladies of Mathura, who have heard about Krishna and heard about Vrindavan, but they still don't have full experience. But now they're seeing Krishna's beauty. So even though they're speaking about the injustice, the previous group and that group, they can't leave because Krishna is so beautiful. And then there's another group, who have heard and meditated on Krishna and Vrindavan, which are actually could be the wives of the Brahmins. It could be them. And they experienced Krishna. They experienced Krishna's beauty. They drank the beauty. It says they forcibly took Krishna's beauty and placed it in their hearts when they saw him standing. He was standing in the pastures grounds in the forest with his arm on one shoulder of one cowherd boy and the other hand twirling a lotus flower and smiling at them. This was so incredible that they were stunned. They couldn't move. And they just drank Krishna's beauty and put it into their hearts. And then it says that this what was that verse? The previous one of the previous verses. Punya batta braja bhuvo. What kind of pious activities? This is also spoken of previously in the 12th chapter of this canto. That what kinds of pious activities have these cowherd boys done to be able to run in the forest and play with Krishna? Something so bewildering that even Lord Brahma cannot fathom it. So what have they done? Of course, they haven't done anything, because pious activities cannot bring one Krishna. And then in the next verse, this 14th verse, it says, Gopyas tapa kimacharan. What kinds of austerities have the gopis done? To be able to be among all the residents of Vrindavan, to be the most intimately related to Krishna. What are the austerities that they have done? But actually, they haven't done any austerities, because by austerity you can't understand Krishna. Just like when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu detected the presence of the very austere brahmachari that Srivas had finally, because he was so relentless, he wanted to be in that kirtan. And so because he was insisting, which is actually a good quality. No, if one really wants to be Krishna conscious, then one will keep trying, even in spite of all obstacles. And because of his insistence, Srivas let him in. But because he was doing austerities and penances, drinking milk and eating fruits, and doing austerities all day long, then when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu detected him, Srivas said, but he's so austere. He's celibate, he's brahmachari, and he's just eating fruits and milk. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu became very angry. He said, you think you can attain Krishna by eating fruits and drinking milk? No. Or by having knowledge, because he's very knowledgeable? The gopis of Vrindavan, they had no knowledge. No. Gajendra had no knowledge. The monkeys who served Ramachandra, what knowledge did they have? Were they great scholars? No, they were monkeys and bears. No. Yet they achieved the highest perfection of life. To be intimate servants and intimate associates of the Lord. So you think you can do it this way? I became very upset. But then that brahmachari, as he went out, he was almost being escorted out, but then he went on his own. And he was thinking, I don't care if they kick me out. I don't care if they beat me. I don't care what they do. I got to see the dancing of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. I am the most fortunate person in the three worlds. Anything that happens to me from this point on is of no consequence. And when he thought like that, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, bring him back. No, bring him back. And then he put his feet on his head. No. And he said, now you have understood. No. Now you've understood the essence of bhakti. The essence of bhakti is just to understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead and try to please him. No. And when they did that, all of the devotees offered obeisances to the brahmachari. No. They didn't think, I'm an older devotee. No, I don't have to offer obeisance. No. Whenever they saw anyone get the mercy of Krishna in such a wonderful way, all the devotees would offer obeisances to that devotee. Because they were seeing the mercy of the Supreme Lord becoming manifest. And they were thinking, as devotees should think, that this devotee is so advanced, and I'm so unfortunate. I've never gotten such mercy. Just like when Pundarik Vidyanidhi and Swarup Damodar, they were sitting in the Jagannath temple, and they were watching the Odana Shastra, where Lord Jagannath is getting his new clothing. No. And when they were watching, and Pundarika said, this is not proper. They're putting on that clothing without washing it. It's full of starch. So, first of all, that starch, when it comes out, it's not pure. How can they put this impure clothing on the Lord? And plus, it's starchy. It's not comfortable for the body of the Lord. And Swarup Damodar said, no, this is their tradition. No, this is their tradition. They don't need to, do anything else. The Lord has accepted this for hundreds of years, so therefore, He's accepting it. There's no problem. No, He's accepting. And then they kept arguing back and forth. And then they left, and that night, Pundarik Vidyanidhi, in a dream, Jagannath and Baladev came to him and started slapping him on the face with their arms, saying, you should not disturb my devotees. My devotees, this is how they worship me, and that's how I like it. And they slapped him some more. And he was totally, Pundarik was totally in bliss. He was so happy that the Lord is punishing me. Generally, when Krishna punishes us, we're not so happy. We don't take it in the same way. He was so happy. And then the next day when he woke up, he looked in the mirror, and he saw that his face was swollen and red, and he said, I can't go out. If I go out, how will I explain this? So he stayed home. But Swarup Damodar, he was an old man. Swarup Damodar was concerned. Maybe he had, a heart attack or something happened, So he went to his residence. He knocked on the door. He didn't answer. He knocked on the door and said, are you all right? And he said, no, I can't come out. I said, what do you mean? Please open the door. So he opened the door a little bit, and he could see his face. He said, what happened? And so Swarup Damodar came in, and Pundarik said, I know you won't believe me. And he explained the whole incident. And Swarup Damodar offered him obeisances and said, you are indeed the most fortunate devotee. Many people, many very fortunate devotees may see Krishna in a dream, and something may happen to them. But I've never heard of anyone who, on the physical plane, experiences the effects of the dream. Therefore, you are the most fortunate devotee. Krishna is very, very pleased with you. So this is how a devotee sees when someone is actually blessed by the Lord. They worship that devotee, and they don't think, well, Krishna doesn't slap me; he smiles at me. So therefore, I'm in a better situation. So the gopis, gopyas tapa. This is just an expression. What austerities have they done? But actually, by austerities, no one can attain Krishna. What have they done? Amusha rupam. That this particular form of Krishna, that we're seeing now, but that form of Krishna in Vrindavan, just like Srimati Radharani, this particular verse is cited that it came from two places. Only one is mentioned here, but it's also the one mentioned here, Adi 4. Adi 4 is speaking about the gopis in Kurukshetra, and the gopis in Kurukshetra, they hadn't seen Krishna for such a long time, and then they saw Krishna. And even though Krishna was dressed in a helmet, and he had a helmet, he was on a chariot, and they were cursing Lord Brahma. Now, this has happened several times. Why have you given us these eyelids? We haven't seen Krishna for so long. We don't want to miss one fraction of a second, but these eyelids keep interfering. What kind of a creator is Brahma? And then they began to describe the beauty of Krishna, but they were meditating on Krishna in Vrindavan. And then Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, he mentions this verse, that how can, what these gopis are so fortunate. They see this form, which is amusha, which is their own form, meaning something that particularly belongs to them, something that cannot be experienced by anyone except for them in the way that they experience it. In the previous verse to this one, it speaks about Shiva and Lakshmi being able to meditate on the lotus feet of Krishna. But they can't take those lotus feet, even though Lakshmi can take those lotus feet into her hands. The gopis are described that when they hear Krishna's flute, it's like a whirlwind. The music from his flute is like a whirlwind, which takes their minds and churns their minds like a tornado would take us and throw us around. And then when they fall down from that, they can never leave his lotus feet. Once they come down from that whirlwind of Krishna's flute and land at his lotus feet, they're totally surrendered. Otherwise, they have no option other than to try to please Krishna and try to experience. They can't experience anything else. They're totally 100% surrendered, at Krishna's lotus feet. So, Lavanya Saram, they see Krishna as the most beautiful person. And if they see Krishna as the most beautiful person, then one may say, well, but we're talking about we're talking about Krishna in the material world. Therefore, in Vaikuntha, he must be more beautiful. No. He must, right? If he's very beautiful, but when he's in Vaikuntha, in the form of Narayan, no. Asamordvam, that he's unequaled, unparalleled, wherever he may be. Just like Uddhava said to Vidura when he was asking about Krishna, and he said, "Where is that wonderful Lord who yanmartya lilaupayikam swayogamaya balam darshayata grihitam?" Where is that most beautiful Supreme Personality of Godhead, whose activities, whose pastimes look just like ordinary pastimes or ordinary activities of this world, but yogamaya balam darshayata grihitam, and only by his yogamaya potency can we see the full manifestation of these pastimes. And they're so wonderful, vismapanam swasya, that even the Lord of Vaikuntha, even Mahavishnu, any of his different incarnations, they're so anxious to see this wonderful form. No, Chasau bhagha ridhe. Also, the demigods or anyone in this material world, no matter how much opulence or how much power that they may have, when they see the beauty of Krishna, that power and that opulence is rendered insignificant. Param param bhushanan bhushanangam. Krishna is so beautiful that he is the ornament of his ornaments. Everyone else, they wear ornaments to try to, people have their hair and their different types of ornaments and dress this way and that way to try to look better or to appear to be an appropriate situation, type of wardrobe they have. But Krishna, no, whatever he wears becomes beautified. Just like Srila Prabhupada gives the example of a gold ring with a diamond. So the gold is very beautiful. But when the gold has a diamond or an emerald or a ruby on it, it becomes more beautiful. So Krishna is like that jewel. And although devotees may be very wonderful, they become more wonderful when they're related to Krishna. Anything becomes more wonderful when it's related to Krishna. So this is how Uddhava portrayed the beauty of Krishna. When Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was speaking to Sanatana Goswami, he described the opulences of Krishna in one of these verses. In this particular verse, Ekanta Dhama, that he is the Ekanta Dham. He's the only abode or the only place where one can find supreme Yashasa Shriya Aishvarasya. As it says in Padma Purana, Aishvarasya Samagrasya. That Krishna has these supreme opulence. He is the greatest. Also, Biryasya Shriyasa Yashasa Shriyaha, and the most powerful, the most famous, and the most beautiful. Jnana Vairagyayoshchaiva, and the most knowledgeable, the most intelligent, and the most renounced. These are the six opulences of Krishna. So they're being spoken of here, but in a different way. That he's so famous, he's so beautiful, he's so opulent. But the opulence of his sweetness. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was describing to Sanatana Goswami the beauty of Krishna. First he described the opulences, then he said, now let us consider the beauty of Krishna. And he spoke the verse that I just spoke about of Uddhava. And then he goes on to describe that how Krishna's beauty is unequaled. And he goes on and on until he comes to this particular verse when he's describing it in Madhya Lila of Chaitanya Charitamrita, where he says, Drigbi Ananya Siddham. Where did he get this beauty from? Where did he derive it from? No, Ananya. Nowhere else. Ananya Siddham. This is his own perfection. This is something that Krishna has and possesses, and no one can equal it, or no one can take it away. No one can do anything with it. It is Krishna's beauty. Drigbi Pidant Yanu Savabina Abhinavam. That with one's own eyes, especially throughout the Bhagavatam and Chaitanya Charitamrita, it speaks about the eyes and the ears as being better instruments to drink with. We usually drink with our mouth, but in relation to Krishna, you can drink Krishna better. Pibati Bhagavatam Rasam Alayam, as it says in the very beginning of the Bhagavatam, that one should drink this Bhagavat Purana, Rasam Alayam, which is the sweetest nectar. And who can do that? Muhuraho Rasika Bhuvi Bhavuka. Those who are very thoughtful, those who are very expert at deliberating the wonderful beauty of Krishna. Those who are Rasika, who are expert at tasting the pastimes of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, they can drink Krishna's beauty, this nectar, which is unlimited, time and time again. And this is said here. Anusava means complete and perfect, and then abhinavam. It's abhinavam. It's always fresh. It's always new. You never get tired of it. You drink anything in this world, it tastes good the first time, but never tastes that good the second time, unless, of course, the person who made it the second time is more expert. But once you taste it in this world, the effect diminishes. But the effect of Krishna is abhinavam. It's always new. Navanava rasam damani. As Yamunacharya said, that it's always fresh and new and wonderful. The beauty of Krishna, the wonder of Krishna, and you can drink it with your eyes. Drigbi, pibanti. And you can drink the nectar of Krishna. As it says in the second canto of the Bhagavatam, pibanti ye bhagavata atmana satam. This wonderful supreme truth manifested in the form of the Srimad Bhagavatam, katamritam shravanaputishu samritam, that one should drink the katamritam, this wonderful Krishna katha, until and fill up one's ear holes with these wonderful pastimes. Punantiye vishaya vidushita asayam. That will replace any type of so-called nectar or happiness or experience that one can receive in this material world. Will displace it totally. And then brajanti chachchara sororuhantikam. Then one can approach the lotus feet of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, time and time and time again, and never become satiated and never become tired. So, durapam, but it's difficult to attain. Just like Shiva and Lakshmi, they, in a previous verse, it says that they can meditate on the lotus feet and Lakshmi can massage the lotus feet. But the the gopis of Vrindavan, Krishna's pastimes and Krishna's beauty and everything about Krishna is like a chariot that carries their minds from place to place, from moment to moment. And they can never leave the wonderful essence that composes Krishna. And so, Durapam, it's not difficult for them. No, it's difficult for them to give up, and it's difficult for us to perceive. No. So Durapam has two meanings. Very difficult for them to give up. They can't give it up. Difficult means, in this case, means impossible for them. And for us, sometimes it seems impossible. We read the Bhagavatam, we chant, we do so many things, but then we see, wow, I'm still attracted to this material world. No. Even though this body is, what it is, and we experience so many times, time and time again, that this material body is not so nice. No. But because it gives us if we don't experience the pleasure of Krishna consciousness, then it gives us, whatever it gives us, we're so anxious to have it that we take that second-rate or third-rate or 10th-rate happiness of the material world as my solace, as that which will make me happy and give me pleasure. So, anyway, I just wanted to emphasize that verse because that was a very, very essential verse. And then, of course, then it goes on and describes them, all of their different activities, which you all read yesterday. Well, at least whoever was here. Describing how Krishna is the very essence, the life and the soul of the gopis. What do? They live from all night long there with Krishna, and during the day they hear Krishna's flute and they run out of their homes to see Krishna, because everybody does that. Of course, they have to be careful because their parents and the elders are all around, so they kind of look at Krishna and wave at him like he's a nice person. But they're thinking, how will we? Krishna's leaving for the forest. How will we survive for the next 8 hours or whatever, 8-10 hours where Krishna's in the forest? They're thinking, how are we going to survive for the next? We make plans like for 2 weeks and 3 weeks from now or 2 months from now or 4.5 months from now I can go to Vrindavan, or I'm going on vacation, right? No, we think like that, and they can't go beyond 8 hours, and those 8 hours are the most painful. Of course, painful bliss that they're going through. And the only thing they're doing in all that time, it says that the young gopis practically can't do, although they go out and do things. They may go out and pick flowers, or they may do something, or they may be taking care of their children, the ones that are a little bit older. Some of them are not married, some are married. But they just do these things mechanically. But their minds are totally absorbed. When are we going to hear that flute again? And sometimes some birds will sing, and when those birds sing, they think, is that Krishna's flute? Or they hear some other sound. Just like sometimes the devotees, like the train goes by here all the time, and if you don't know, it sounds like you think, oh, somebody's blowing a conch shell. At least the first time I heard it, I thought, oh, well, you can hear the conch shell all the way over here. And then I realized it was the train. So a devotee thinks like that. Whatever sound they hear, they'll relate it to Krishna. They'll think, this has something to do with Krishna. I know sometimes when I hear people, they yell, it sounds like Hardy Bol. Or who knows what they're saying, but it sounds like Hardy Bol, because that's what we want to hear. So the gopis, the only thing they want to hear is that flute, because it means Krishna's coming back. It means, again, I'll see him after this unbearable long period of 8 hours. Most people in this world, they sleep more than 8 hours. And if they don't, it's only because they have to get up and go to work. Otherwise, they would definitely sleep 8 hours or more. So, But the gopis could, unbearable. No? And then, so this is being described, no? Whatever they're doing, no? They're thinking about Krishna. Tears are flowing from their eyes. Their voices are choked up. And they sing songs, just like Mother Yashoda. Srila Prabhupada describes that sometimes she would sing songs composed by the Brahmins, and sometimes she would make up her own songs about Krishna. No? And of course, the songs made up by Mother Yashoda are the most beautiful. And the ones made up by the Brahmins, they're like official songs, glorifying Krishna. But the ones made by Mother Yashoda, they're full of Vatsalya Prem. So all this is happening, which is being described in these verses, the great fortune of the gopis, no, because of their prema. No one can come and see Krishna in Vrindavan. No one, we can have this vision to some degree, but no one could possibly fathom it, except if one has real Krishna prema. So then we come to the first verse that we recited today. No. It says, as the woman spoke, Lord Krishna, and now why does it say here? It says, Yogeshwar, Strishu Yogeshwaro Hari, no. The master of mystic power. So why is Krishna being referred to in this verse as the master of mystic power? Because he could create all of these situations, as the verse in the last chapter, when Krishna comes into the arena of Kamsa, right? Malam Ashanir, Naravara. I can't remember the verse now, but it's here. Beautiful verse. Yes. Nrinam Naravara, Strinam Smaro, Striyanam. That different people saw Krishna in different ways. So this is Krishna's mystical power. Just like in Govardhan Leela, where he's holding up the hill, everyone's seeing Krishna in a different way. It's the same Krishna, and he's holding up a hill. But Mother Yashoda is seeing that Krishna with his delicate finger, this is going to hurt his finger, this is going to hurt his arm. She's trying to massage his arm and make Krishna feel better. And the Gopis are seeing his arm and thinking, just see how strong he is. Those are the same arms that embrace us. Now we can understand why his embrace is so firm. And everybody's thinking it a different way. His friends are thinking that Krishna's trying to show off, but actually we know that we can defeat him. He thinks, just holding that up. And even Madhu Mangal, he's thinking, I'm actually holding up the hill. I'm the one's holding. With my Brahminical power, I'm holding up the hill. No, it's not Krishna. And he tells everybody, that's Krishna. This is the work of Brahmins. How can a little boy lift up a hill? This is a Brahminical work. This is my Tejas. And Sridham is thinking, if Krishna can hold up that hill with one finger, I can hold it up. He's thinking, I can hold it up even easier because I always defeat him. So he's just trying to show off and make people think that he's the strongest. So everybody's seeing Krishna in a different way. The servants of Krishna are in anxiety. We can't serve Krishna now because he can't receive our gifts. And the cows are thinking, under this hill, we can't approach Krishna because everyone's around him, so we can't lick his transcendental body. No. Everyone's just seeing Krishna in a different way. So when he came in, Gopanam Swajano, the Gopas, they saw him as the relatives. His parents saw him as their dear, delicate child. Asatam Shiti Bhujam, the impious kings saw him as punishment, saw him Shastam, and what is it, Bojarad? No, Mrityur Bojapatir. And Kamsa saw him as death personified. Jai Shri Shri. And then Virad Avidusham, and the unfortunate meditators and impersonalists saw him as a great power. And Tattvam Param Yoginam. But the yogis saw him as the master of mystic power. So everybody saw Krishna in a different way. And so here, Shatrum Hantum Manaschakre. Now Krishna thought within his mind, that, Manachakre. Within Krishna's mind, what does that mean? Within Krishna's mind is everything. But that means Manachakre, those thoughts that were circulating in Krishna's mind at that particular moment. Thinking, okay, I played around with this, this, just like when Nrsimhadev was killing Hiranyakashipu, he would let him go, and the demigods would become very alarmed, because they were thinking, what's happening? Is Lord Vishnu slipping? Is this demon something that we've never seen before? He's actually a threat to the Lord. They were worried because they're thinking that they want him to kill. They wanted Nrsimhadev to kill Hiranyakashipu because he's threatening their enjoyment. He's threatening their ability to enjoy their heavenly pleasures. But Prahlad Maharaj is thinking, let him kill my father because my father is acting improperly. So if he kills him, that's all right. But still he had compassion. And so here, Krishna wanted everybody to feel compassion for him. He wanted Kamsa to feel like he's got some hope. Sometimes Krishna would be under Chanura, and so everybody, the ones who were Krishna's devotees were horrified, and Kamsa was all right. No, he's winning. All right. And everybody saw it differently. And some of the Kshatriyas there, they thought they were just enjoying the fight. It's like people go to boxing, wrestling, kick fight, whatever all these different types of martial sports, and they're enjoying just to see the fight. They like to see blood. Most of them eat blood. That's why they like blood. People who like these things because they're blood lovers. In all different forms. And Krishna is thinking, okay, I've played around enough. I've given everybody the excitement, the particular excitement that they want. I have extracted from the ladies of Mathura their sentiments. Now they're surrendered to me, which is this is what he really wanted to accomplish, and therefore that's the biggest section here. And even in the previous, it's just a big section of their lamentation, their worry, and now let me just kill him. Now I'm going to kill him. I have to get about my business. And now that the people of Mathura are dedicated to me, now I can finish off Kamsa. So that's what he's thinking. And this is the previous verse, that one we read. And then, out of affection for the Lord, his two parents, they were hearing these ladies. They were already in distress. And when they heard these ladies, this is injustice. These huge wrestlers with their bodies as strong as lightning bolts are going to crush Krishna. And they were unaware, as it says here, Abudhao Balam. They were unaware of Krishna's opulence and Krishna's strength. They were unaware, even though they had already seen it. They had already seen Krishna, just like Devaki. When Krishna was born, she was glorifying his greatness as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. But then all of a sudden, she stopped. And when she thought about Kamsa coming, she entered into her motherly, affectionate mood. And she's thinking, Krishna, can't you hide somewhere? And she was implying, but what she was really implying, I want to see you as a baby. No, I want to see you as a little tiny baby. No, I don't want to see you in this opulent manifestation. I want to see you as a tiny baby. So she was praying like that, and then when she prayed like that, Krishna said, now I can give my mother the pleasure of the parental pleasure. And he took the form of, she was concerned that Kamsa would hurt him. She had just finished glorifying him as the Lord of the three worlds. Certainly the Lord of the three worlds can defeat Kamsa. But because of the rasa of being Krishna's mother, she went into this mood. Here, this little baby. And she was thinking, now I have to hide the baby. What are we going to do with him? Now he's in a baby form. What are we going to do with him? No. Certainly Kamsa's going to come any minute now. But now I can hide him. No. Otherwise she's feeling, now I must serve my child. So here again, abudao balam. Totally unaware. No. Even though they just saw Krishna come in to they just saw him kill this huge elephant. They didn't see it, but they saw him come in with the tusks. No. They saw how Krishna, if Krishna were really just a young boy who was being molested by these huge, they would have crushed him in the first blow. If it was an ordinary young boy and they hit him, later on we'll see that Chanura comes and hits Krishna with his two fists, and it doesn't affect Krishna. It's like a piece of grass being thrown at him or something. Doesn't hurt him at all. But they would have been crushed. But they're not thinking like that. When someone is experiencing this degree of rasa, they don't think logically. Well, let me see now. If he was a young boy, so he must be the Supreme Lord, because he hasn't been killed by now. I mean, who knows? It doesn't state the time period here for all this happening, but it certainly, was a while. And they were locking arms, they were locking legs, they were twirling around, they were jumping on top of one another. How could a child, 11-year-old child, be doing all this and with a huge wrestler? It was very obvious that Krishna was the Supreme, but Mother Devaki could not see that. That's the point that's being emphasized. Overwhelmed with sorrow. Here it says anvatapya, anvatapya. Again, anvatapya, tapya. This great sorrow, this great austerity entered into their hearts. They couldn't believe that this is happening. How could? And then what are they doing? They're blaming themselves. Why didn't we keep our son at home? Of course, what does that mean? Why can't we keep our? They gave Krishna to. Otherwise, their thoughts are so perturbed by the what they're seeing and what they've just heard from these ladies. They're thinking, why did we send Krishna to Vrindavan? If we would have kept him home, but if they would have kept him home, Kamsa would have come and grabbed him and done what he did to Durga. But they're just thinking, we should have kept him at home. We should have just kept him. We should have never sent him to Vrindavan. Just see the result of being irresponsible parents. And nowadays, there's so many irresponsible parents, and they blame it on something else. They blame it on society. They blame it on who knows what. They don't take the responsibility for being irresponsible. No. They're irresponsible people. They don't. But Krishna, no. Krishna's parents, they were thinking so responsibly that it's all our fault. No. And so a devotee, this is a very instructive thing. We should also think in this way. It's my fault. No. When something happens to us, we want to think like that. It's my fault. I should have been more Krishna conscious. I should have been more dedicated to devotional service. I should have been more thoughtful in my execution of Krishna consciousness. No. That's why these things are happening to me. It's my karma, but Krishna is so kind that he has minimized it to practically nil. I just got this reaction. No. Whatever it may be very serious or very, comparatively, relatively to other things that have happened to us or happened to others. But because of our envy, we think, no, why is Krishna doing this? When we should be thinking, it's my fault. No. Why did we allow him to participate? No. Why did we allow... Actually, Devaki and Vasudev, they didn't allow anything because Krishna's coming. He's not coming from their house. He's not coming from their place. He's coming from Vrindavan. No. But they're taking that responsibility. So even if we can't see the cause, or we're not involved in the immediate cause of something happening, we should see this way. No. That what did I do? How can I remedy this situation by being more Krishna conscious? No. This is what it means by, why didn't we leave Krishna at home? No. Why did we allow him to come into this situation? No. So all these pastimes, apart from the pastime itself, and feeling this putra sneha, shucha, feeling this lamentation. They're lamenting. No, we should also become expert in feeling these things. No, why? How have I allowed my Krishna consciousness? Because in one sense, we're the parents of our Krishna consciousness. We are the parent. Our Krishna consciousness is our product. It's our child that we have to be caring for. So as it says in Chaitanya Charitamrita, just like a garden has to be carefully protected so that animals like cows, what to speak of mad elephant of Vaishnav aparad, or the other maybe lesser offenses of different kinds of offenses or different kinds of improper behavior. They can trample this garden of devotional service, this creeper of devotional service, which is so delicate and has to be cared for so carefully. So this is our child, our consciousness. We have to take care of it very, very wonderfully, and lament whenever that child goes into the wrong place, and bring him back and think we have to keep him at home. And where is our home? Keep our consciousness in our heart and keep our heart focused on Krishna. And then our Krishna consciousness will flourish more and more and more. So these are some thoughts on these verses. I'll stop here. Any comments or questions? Yes. Well, we have to cultivate goodness. That's what Krishna recommends in Bhagavad Gita. That we cultivate the mode of goodness. And how do we cultivate the mode of goodness? We see in the 17th and 18th chapters of Bhagavad Gita what are the kind of things we eat to be in the mode of goodness? What are the kind of what kind of austerities do we do? What kind of charity do we give to be in the mode of goodness? No. Charity given to the right person at the right time in the right situation. No. Everything. So Bhagavad Gita is giving us an idea, how to. We want to be in transcendental consciousness, but when we're in this world, we should do things on the platform of goodness, so that and even if we're passionate people, then we should take shelter of someone who's in the mode of goodness. Otherwise, that's what Brahmins are for. They're supposed to give us advice. Because I may be in the mode of passion, I may be in the mode of ignorance, but the Brahmins, who are really situated in the mode of goodness, they'll say, they understand. Oh, this person has a tendency toward the mode of passion, so they will try to recommend some activity where one's energy can be properly utilized, and in the right way, and that way allowing their passion to bring them to Krishna's lotus feet. So if we're too passionate, we have to try to, take shelter of people in the mode of goodness. Yes. We use mode of goodness as a platform of being able to enhance our constant endeavor to transcend. Just like Krishna, all through the beginning of Bhagavad Gita, he recommends transcendence. But then, when he starts speaking about the modes of nature and how strong they are, and even when he speaks about the modes of nature in the 14th chapter, he ends by saying, Mam chayo vyabhicharina bhakti yogena sevate sagunan samatitaitan. One has to be beyond these modes of nature. So he says it again and again. But while you're in this world, at least try to do things in the mode of, meaning Krishna is saying basically, I know that because of your conditioning, you're going to drift away from this transcendence. So at least try to be in the mode of goodness. And these are the ways you can do. These are the things you can cultivate as habits. As habit. Not my offering to Krishna is not a habit. My offering to Krishna is a conscientious effort to please Krishna. And that's transcendental. But at least my habits, how I live on a daily basis, how I eat and everything, at least let me try to do that as much as possible in the mode of goodness. And that will give me more strength to be, as you say, to be transcendental. So it's mostly talking about our habits, how we relate to others, because relating to others, just like if someone gets in traffic, it automatically brings out the mode of passion. When you're driving in traffic and people are cutting in front of you, and it just kind of brings out the mode of passion. And so many other things brings out passion or brings out ignorance. Somebody does something to us, we have the tendency to become angry. which is the mode of passion being transformed into the mode of ignorance. So Krishna is recommending, as much as possible, stay on that transcendental platform. No. But when you slip, don't go all the way to ignorance. No. Cultivate those activities which keep us above the lower mode. No. Yes. Were they what? Mm-hmm.
So somebody was asking yesterday, were they in jail or how were they in bondage? Because they were hearing the description of the ladies about Krishna's being unfairly matched and things like that. But they were released from bondage, so Kuvera asked how they were bound or whether.
Well, I mean, they're topmost pure devotees, no? And just like Krishna is acting in a different way under Yoga Maya, his devotees may be acting in a way that makes them appear that they're affected by lamentation or sorrow, or no. Just like the gopis, they're always lamenting, no. Nobody laments as much as the gopis. When Krishna disappears from their sight, when Krishna goes to the pasturing grounds, when Krishna is, with Mother Yashoda, they're lamenting. They can't have Krishna. No. But that lamentation, just like Srila Prabhupada describes in the second chapter of Bhagavad Gita, in the first verse, that there's two types of lamentation, and the type that Arjuna is experiencing, although it's really spiritual because it's under Krishna's Yoga Maya, but he's demonstrating lamentation in the mode of ignorance. And the gopis and Devaki and Vasudeva are manifesting lamentation in pure goodness, because although they're lamenting in relation to Krishna's safety, which is the duty of the parents. No, they're thinking we weren't good parents. We gave Krishna up when he was a little boy. Just like if anybody gives up their child when they're 1 day old, you think, wow, this is not very good parents. No. So they were thinking like that. We've been very bad parents. We gave up our son after 1 day, not even a day, after a few hours. No. We gave up our son.
Devaki and Vasudeva was not present over there in the arena. How Devaki was getting all the news?
How did they get what?
She was getting the news that Chanuka and Krishna is fighting. Krishna and Balaram are fighting in the wrestling match, and it's an unfair match. How she was getting all the news? Because just a material question. People are not allowed to go in the jail, and so how she was getting all the news?
Everything related to Krishna, somehow or another, everybody knew. Everybody knew that Krishna was coming. Of course, it may have been even by feeling. I don't see how it was described. That, but whatever Kamsa was doing, just like it's described that. When the women start lamenting about this, it says that the people who are of the royal order, they should know that they should have known that this is improper. But they were following because Kamsa was so big. Certainly the word got out that, as they used to say, of course nowadays it's different. They used to say, telegraph, telephone, tell a woman. So there was certainly a lot of women, and so the word would get out, that Krishna's coming. And even if they just heard there was going to be a big event, but then naturally if you hear there's going to be a big event, just like even the time of Ramachandra, everybody knew when there would be, that there was, the coronation was the next day. There was no internet, but there was somehow or another a system of announcing whatever's going to happen in the royal palace. So whatever's happening in the arena where Kamsa holds like the biggest activities, everybody knew about it. And of course, it may even be because it says later on that Krishna freed his parents, that they were still under Kamsa's guard. Although they were still imprisoned. So Kamsa himself may have just brought them. I don't remember ever seeing that was described how they got there, how they found out. But certainly they found out. It became the news of Mathura because everybody was there. And then people were lamenting, why did we come? We should have realized this was adharmic. But everybody knew, somehow or another. Maybe even because this was still in mantra yuga. Dwapara Yuga is still the last of mantra yugas. So things could be conveyed by mind. What to speak of the feeling that Devaki and Vasudeva would have if they know that Krishna is even near. Just like people have this intuition about their children. And they although they may not know, they feel something. That connection is so strong. What to speak of in mantra yuga. So we can see different ways that it could happen. But they were always meditating on Krishna. From the day that Krishna left to this day, they were always thinking like that. When will Krishna come back? When will we see Krishna again? And of course, as we see, when Nanda Maharaj met with Vasudeva, so there was always some system of communication there. Otherwise, how did they know where they would meet? So there's always some communication. Runners, Pony Express, whatever, some means of communication. So I think we'll stop here. Thank you all very much for your attention. All glories to Shri Guru, Shri Gauranga, Shri Prabhupada. Ki Jai.